to watch their videos. So just keep that in mind. That's my favorite thing about YouTube. If you don't like it, you don't watch it.
Right.
Okay.
Hello, Walter.
So,
Goodbye, Walter.
So this week we're talking about stealth and disclosing, and the girls have already started their videos, but I'm late. Okay, do you tell people that your partner is trans? When? How?
Sorry.
Why?
Sorry.
Not really. I don't really tell many people because it doesn't really come up. That's it. Does your partner tell people he's trans? When? How? Why?
If I feel like it's appropriate to disclose, I do. For the most part, if somebody doesn't already know when they're meeting me, I don't tell them because I don't want people, like, for example, today, I was called by female pronouns almost all day today. And for some people who knew me before I started transitioning, it's a little bit more excusable, but I was called by female pronouns by people who didn't know me when I was living as female. And so, just to avoid that situation or to avoid having my male identity discounted, I don't always feel the need to disclose.
Very good. What advice would you give to a trans guy who is beginning a relationship with someone new? Should he disclose and when? God, I think this is so, touchy, and I think it so depends on the person and whomever the person is building a relationship with. I think it depends on so many different circumstances that I'm not even sure that I could adequately give advice to a person in this situation. Just based on my experiences, I don't think I'm in the position to know anything about that sort of situation, honestly.
When I went to that trans symposium and I sat in on the session that was just for people on the trans-masculine identity spectrum, we talked a little about that, and some people said, they said, oh yeah, I disclose immediately, and some people say that they don't disclose until they're literally about to have a sexual encounter with somebody, and I just think it depends a lot on the situation, and
Totally agree.
and how safe you feel, and if you feel like it's going to be well received. I don't know. It's really a very, very touchy, very careful line to
And
tell.
I think it varies just from person to person so much. I mean, I don't think we can even touch that.
I don't know.
If your partner does not pass to someone, does he feel pressured then to disclose in order to be addressed properly? This was a question that Gabe actually came up with for this week. So what do you think about that? I mean,
I think it depends on the situation. If you are just like in the grocery store.
Yeah, if somebody addresses you wrong, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm trans, let me just fix that. I mean, that would be kind of inappropriate.
Right, but, if it's somebody that it also depends, if they knew that, for example, that Nikki was in a relationship, and then heard her mention my name as it is now, then you might say something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that when I was first beginning my transition, I felt pressure to disclose to just about everybody so that I would be addressed correctly. But now that at work there are staff people who didn't know me 6 months ago who have just started, and I don't disclose to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
What does living stealth mean to you? I'll tell you what I think it is, and maybe I'm wrong, but my understanding of living stealth is when you identify not as trans, per se, but as, for trans guys, male, and you sort of I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm trying really tiptoeing here, you sort of leave the trans identity and maybe don't disclose, maybe? Is that kind of transgendered person.
Yeah, right.
But then there are other people who just, like Gabe, want to just be male, not necessarily like trans male, even though he is trans. I don't really know how to explain that.
Yeah, some people I think really embrace a trans identity and really strive to sort of carve that niche in the LGBT community, and they're like, well, just as somebody can have a gay male identity or a lesbian identity, they're striving to identify and sort of define what a trans identity is, and some people just identify as the gender they weren't born into.
Right.
So it's sort of, I don't know, it's kind of a gray area.
So, do you plan to live stealth then? At any point?
Well, someday I want to be a teacher, and we live in Ohio, and the state of Ohio right now can fire people at will for being LGBT. And
I mean, your union does protect you to some extent.
Right, but I mean, right now Ohio basically has an at-will policy, and considering that I work for a company that serves kids with disabilities, that's already a fragile population, and you got to be really careful about it. I'm careful not to say anything to parents, and I mean, it doesn't bother me the idea of
So
living
at
as
some
stealth.
point, yeah. And I mean, a lot of things will change, I think, in our lives when that point comes. But yeah. So are you out as trans? We've already talked about this. Yeah, Gabe's out. I mean, everywhere. Everyone knows. I mean, anybody who matters knows. Um, what language do you use when outing your partner, like born in the wrong body, or born a woman, or female-bodied male? Um, I don't really know that I would use any of those.
Yeah.
He's transgendered, and if people don't know what that means, I don't know how. I mean, what do you say? I mean, people generally, I think, know what that means. I mean, no, people that we know generally have known what that has meant. I don't recall a time where I've been like, Gabe is transgendered and is transitioning, and people are like, what's that? That hasn't really happened. But I suppose if that did happen, I guess I would say, I don't know.
What? That I was born female, but I identify as male.
Yeah, that's probably what I would say. Male identity.
That's what I say. I think.
Yeah.
I was born female-bodied, but I have a male identity.
Yeah, yeah. So, sorry our video is like so bleh this week, but we were just
late.
It's late. We're exhausted, and it's just been a crazy
month,
really, but especially past few weeks here. So, we hope you all are doing well. Looking forward to seeing some more videos from the other transcribers on this topic. And if you have any topic ideas, feel free to send them along to our channel. And we have lots of topics lined up for the next several weeks. But please, if you have a suggestion, go ahead and send that in to us, and we will work it into our calendar. So have a wonderful week, and we'll see you all next time for another edition of Snappy Whatever Days with Darling Nikki.